Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new episode of All the Top Talk. I'm your host, Owen, and today me and Anthony are going to be breaking down, talking about this Saturday night's main event pay per view. How we doing today?
Bro, we're good. We're great. We're amazing.
By
Fabulous.
the by the time we're recording this, we have just seen the results of Raw. Pretty much, I think every match for Saturday night main event is confirmed at this point. I don't think they're going to add anything. Um, But
Yeah.
before we start, always make sure to follow us on all of our platforms. Drop a subscribe down below. Um, we're on Instagram, TikTok, wherever you can find podcasts. And with that, let's get into the first match here. First, we got Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. I'm pretty sure this is a steel
hmm
cage match, if I'm not wrong.
Yep, it is. Steel cage.
And we've seen these two go at it. We saw Damian Priest pretty much cost Drew McIntyre the United States belt. In a way, it
hmm
was a four-way match, but took Drew completely out of the match. If I were to choose between the two, I don't see Drew McIntyre losing,
hmm
but there's also a case where Damian Priest, I could see him winning. But ultimately, I would probably go with Drew McIntyre because I really don't think he can afford another loss.
Yeah.
So,
Um, it would be kind of weird here because this is going to be back-to-back losses for Damian Priest. He lost that backlash, and if he loses here, I don't know what the idea was because they were pushing this man to the moon. Damian Priest was not losing matches, not eating pins, so this would be back-to-back pins. So I could see this being a no contest here. I don't think they're gonna want either man to take a pin. If Drew takes a pin, his character is completely ruined. But if Priest takes a pin, I feel like his push is going to be halted because it's kind of been what was it last year, 2024? He took like how many pins? Probably like two or three max. Um, so I could see possibly someone escaping the cage as a way to kind of you know hold that. If you remember in past steel cage matches, we've seen people like go through the steel and accidentally hit the ground, or somebody costs one other guy the match, like we saw with Punk and Seth when Roman Reigns pulled Seth out, giving him the victory like that. So I think it's going to be a victory like that.
yeah, and kind of moving on to a match that a lot of us thought was gonna be on the last pay per view, but didn't end up being on it. Was Logan Paul versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Title, and honestly, I don't see a situation where Jey would lose. Just saw, Braun Breaker versus Jay. I think they're trying to push that new Rollins feud kind of towards Jay's title, and I
hmm
really just don't. Usually with these pay per views too, there's not a lot of title chain. They'll have title matches, but usually the titles stay on, the champ.
Yeah.
Um, uh, Jay, as of recently though, has had some pretty good matches. Kind of throwing Logan Paul in there, I think we're about to see another, top star match. Obviously, like we say all the time, Logan Paul's not, he's not really a likable guy, but in the
hmm
ring, he's amazing.
Yeah.
In pretty much every single match, and I don't think it's going to change with Jey Uso. I think these two are going to put on a great match, but ultimately, I just don't see Jey Uso losing or any situation where that happens.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% there. If it's up to me here, I don't think they really put enough thought and time into this match really. Tonight was really the first kind of steps they've really put into this. Um, but I feel like they realize a lot of people hate Logan Paul, not for his character, but like for the person he actually is. Um, so they kind of keep him off TV. Um, I could see this match ending in a disqualification. I could see, Rollins or Breaker, because I know they both have a match that night, but I could see them possibly running out and just jumping Jay. Or we see the third member of that group get recruited. They send him after Jay. Because, we've been thinking that there's going to be a third member, because it doesn't feel right with just Braun Breaker. I know Paul Heyman's there, but he's not actively fighting. I think they're going to kind of want to turn this more into a larger faction. So I could see a kind of third man, like we were talking about. I thought it was going to be Ethan Page um, joining that, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't see Logan Paul eating a pin here. I feel like they're going to want to protect him now that he's quote unquote more full time. So maybe they're going to want to protect him by Jay getting disqualified in a way, or like maybe the idea I would hate I would hate this, but maybe like the idea is that Logan Paul is going to be that third man. Um, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do here. So that hopefully we find out some more information about that faction, because I really like it personally. I think it has a lot of potential to be one of the best things. We all love Rollins, we love Braun Breaker, we love Paul Heyman. They work good together. So hopefully this all pays off. And long story short here, like we said, I think Jay's gonna easily retain this. I don't think he's in any danger of losing that belt. So we'll just see what happens and where it takes us.
Yeah, and kind of, staying on the subject of, Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, we got the next match here, which has been announced for, I think, a week now. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker versus CM Punk and Sami Zayn. Now, there's a lot of questions surrounding this, event. Like, is the third man going to show up?
Hmm.
I think another question people have been having is Sami Zayn going to ultimately turn, which I have been questioning that for a little bit now. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I just
Hmm.
wouldn't like if it happened. I wouldn't be surprised, just because since Sami Zayn returned, just
Hmm.
when we saw him celebrate with Jay, something was kind of off. Then
Yeah.
obviously we saw him get assaulted by Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins, but maybe that was a way to like kind of take the heat off him.
Hmm.
But I don't know. Ultimately, Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, I think, are going to win this match. I don't know how it happens, whether there's interference. Like I said, Sami Zayn turning. I think there's a lot of possibilities for this match.
Oh yeah, 100% here. Like you said, on the Raw after Mania, you saw the way that Sami Zayn was kind of eyeing down Jay. He was standing behind him kind of creepily, looking at him like he wants his championship. I think that was like a foreshadowing type thing here. I don't really see CM Punk taking a pin or Sami Zayn taking a pin, and I don't think Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker are going to lose. So, yeah, I think we're going to be seeing a Sami Zayn heel turn here. My personal prediction was that Sami Zayn was going to turn post Money in the Bank, but it seems like they're kind of, steamrolling this year. I think he somehow, some way, maybe they kind of plant the seeds by him accidentally costing the match in a way, but not like fully turning yet, but kind of planting the seeds. Or maybe they'll just full blown turn him heel right then and there. But yeah, 100% Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker winning this match, but I'm not sure how yet.
And kind of moving on to, I think, this paper or premium live event usually only has four, matches because it's only 2 hours, but two legends. I don't think this has been confirmed, but obviously we know it's gonna happen. Our Truth versus John Cena, and honestly, um, like I said, once again, there's no chance Cena loses.
Hmm.
Don't know if there's gonna be any type of shenanigans. Me personally, I don't. This match doesn't really need shenanigans.
Yeah.
I'm just happy our Truth is, getting it should be a main event.
Hmm.
We really haven't seen our truth too much in like the ring, one on one. So seeing him face Cena, especially at their ages, I think is going to be pretty interesting. But maybe we'll see our truth. Hit an attitude adjustment like he said he was going to do to Cena because he thinks Cena needs an attitude change. But
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
yeah. I don't think like we said, John Cena's obviously not going to lose this match. But I've seen a lot of predictions come out. Maybe our truth is the reason Cena turns back to a face. He helps that kind of happen. I know behind the scenes, me and you have been talking about how, John Cena's heel turn has been it's felt kind of artificial. Hasn't really felt too real. He's trying really hard to be a heel, but the fans just love Cena way too much to boo him. It's really hard to boo him during his retirement tour here. So I think the right move would be to turn him back to a face. Um, I don't know how they would do that because many fans want to see, including myself, want to see like the many matches Cena can have, with the likes of what CM Punk, Roman Reigns, AJ Styles, maybe him and Randy Orton running back again, or whatever. But with him turning face, the rest of the people might want to crack at the title, or they turn heel themselves. Not quite sure how they do it, but yeah, I think it should be a very interesting match. I think Truth is going to put on a good fight, but hopefully he doesn't get buried. Hopefully it's not a squash match, and hopefully we get some actual good stuff going on there.
Yeah, and obviously it's right around the corner. It's also right around the corner from Money in the Bank, whether feuds from this, premium or live event continue in the Money in the Bank. But, I feel like a question some people have or, have been thinking, I'm just going to put on the screen. Should WWE, remove the Saturday night main event and maybe replace with something else? Because, you know, I see what they're trying to do with like add a filler live event,
Mhm.
but I feel like lately I haven't really enjoyed the Saturday night main event for some reason. I don't know if it's because like it's kind of like you're watching like a Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah.
I think they should replace it with something. I don't know what that is, or because I feel like it's also just too close to
Hmm.
like Money in the Bank. I think it's like 2 weeks after, 3 weeks after. I don't think
Yeah.
it's too necessary, or you just replace it with like another. Um, I don't know.
Yeah. Personally, I think they should keep the show, but they should make it less of like an exhibition type thing. Like all the other ones, the first one we thought it was going to be special, it was a letdown. And the other one that we've had, we realized that there's nothing really changing that happens. Nothing that really affects the storylines too heavily. It's kind of just like a glorified, like you said, glorified episode of Raw or SmackDown. Um, so hopefully they can kind of change that with this one to make it more so, oh, I'll just skip this to make it be like this is a must watch show or you'll miss something important. I hope Triple H has got that memo and he realizes that the fans want a more serious show instead of just something to watch as kind of a waste of time that didn't benefit anything. Um, like for example, the last one that we had was Jay versus Gunther. That served nothing. That made fans have a stale taste in their mouth, which made their WrestleMania match feel less important. So hopefully they can add to these matches and, like you said, make a feud that can maybe boil over to, Money in the Bank or even SummerSlam, or even add legs to a feud that we already have. So hopefully that happens this time. I'm going to be tuning in. Hopefully we get something that's like jaw dropping. Not expecting too much. Not going to give myself too much expectations for it, but we'll just see what happens. And I think Triple H gets the memo now to make the show more serious.
Yeah, and kind of to finish off, I we talked about this a little bit. I think when we did the backlash predictions, I think we want to see less of Jesse Ventura.
Oh yeah.
I don't really like seeing him on the commentary table
Hmm.
completely just trashing on Pat McAfee, Michael Cole. I know it's part of, his whatever
Hmm.
you call it, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's necessary to really have him on the commentary table. I um wouldn't mind seeing him just like how they usually do it, how he like kind of hosts it, but I
Hmm.
don't really want to hear him on the commentary table.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's any place for him there right now. Like you said, him just tearing apart Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. Like they're there every week. They're the reason why the show is what it is today. They keep, they're both legends. We love McAfee even though he's crazy, and Michael Cole is the voice of WWE. So with him there kind of trashing off him doesn't make much sense. I know it's his character, but I would agree with you that he should stand up front, on the podium with Joe Tess. He can kind of just, pan to him every once in a while. They can talk what happened and then go back to the normal commentary. So hopefully they stick with that. But yeah, I agree. 100% agree.
Yeah, and as always, for everyone listening, watching, make sure to follow us on all of our socials. Um, in the description of this podcast,
Hmm.
I usually put the Instagrams, TikTok, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can find this podcast will be put in the description.
Hmm.
As always, make sure if you're watching to drop a like and subscribe,
Yes.
and we will see you all in the next one.
Catch you guys later.